It's business. Tanaka expects everyone to bring their wives.
Every time I'm around that man, he tries to grab my ass.
I made over $200,000 doing business with him last year. If he wants to grab your ass, you let him.
Gabrielle was once a famous New York fashion supermodel. She had countless admirers. So, after Carlos proposed for the third time, Gabrielle finally said yes. The moment he finished speaking, Carlos walked out the door. But suddenly, he called out John's name. The next second, John's hand was scratched by a rose.
Why is that bush still there? You were supposed to dig it up last week.
I didn't have time last
I don't
week.
want to hear your excuses. Just take care of it.
Gabrielle immediately came out and questioned Carlos. Gabrielle was very annoyed by his tone. Carlos immediately retorted sharply. John stood there watching them. Then, Carlos invited Gabrielle to the party the following evening. Gabrielle told John to go home first. Then she accepted Carlos's invitation. Satisfied with this answer, Carlos left. That night, Carlos began complaining that John hadn't mowed the lawn.
Well, yeah.
The lawn hasn't been mowed. I've had it. We're getting a real gardener.
Why?
Are you deaf? I just said he's not doing his job.
To Carlos's surprise, Gabrielle said it was getting dark and the lawn had been cleaned. Then she urged Carlos to hurry. The party was about to begin. They quickly arrived at the venue. Carlos handed the car keys to the valet. Then he and Gabrielle went inside.
There's Tanaka. Time for me to go into my dance.
Good luck, sweetheart.
At that moment, the valet came over. But the next second, Carlos told him to stay there. Then he quietly slipped a tip into his pocket. Afterwards, Gabrielle drove away. She went home. She parked the car in the garage. She quickly went inside and pushed the lawnmower out. Once everything was ready, Gabrielle quickly returned to the party venue. Seeing Carlos still there, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. The next day, Carlos stared at the lawn, lost in thought.